the idea of who created God, which is always, I mean, atheists always think that's a real clever response. You see, but that, again, their lack of philosophy kind of trips them up there. Because when you ask the question, who created God? That question makes an unproved and unprovable assumption. And that is, the assumption is, which is unproved and unprovable, is that because in this world, we see nothing but what philosophers sometimes call contingent beings. Contingent means dependent. Like, for example, your existence is contingent upon your parents. If your parents never existed, let's say we're talking biologically now, then you wouldn't exist. Or, for example, say a mountain. As we know, mountains have lifespans. You know, it's geology. And that's what geologists do. They study mountains and they say, well, this mountain kind of was born or began growing at a certain point. And for example, in the United States, two of the important mountain ranges are the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains in the West and East, respectively. So all the geologists say that the Rocky Mountains are kind of like a much younger mountain range that's still growing, whereas the Appalachian Mountains are much older and are kind of, they're sort of in a geological retirement home. And so therefore, so everything has causes in this world. However, how can you assume that principle of causality, of necessary causality, applies to non-material things? That's just an assumption. And actually, it's a philosophical assumption. And I might even say it's almost a religious assumption. So it's like, for example, the soul. Krishna says in the Gita, as we know, natve vaham jatu nasam, that never was there a time when I did not exist. Natvam, nor you. So therefore, assuming that metaphysical objects have exactly the same characteristics as physical objects is a philosophical assumption for which there's absolutely no basis or evidence. And in fact, Aristotle, who was a great philosopher, and also really, he's one of the, I can't say father of science, well, that sounds very patriarchal, but anyway, I guess since he was anatomically male, I can say that. But he was really kind of one of the main fathers of science. He was, unlike Plato, he was really into like biology and botany, or, he was really into the physical world. But even Aristotle, who's famous for being more interested in the physical world than Plato. For example, Plato, his teacher, said that there's an immaterial eternal soul in the body. Aristotle doesn't really want to have non-material souls. So he says, well, the soul is just the form of the body, the form, somehow basically he's talking about the information which is shaping the body. But even Aristotle admitted, even this worldly Aristotle admitted that there must be, in his words, an unmoved mover. Because everything in this world is moved by something else. So if you ask the question, why does anything exist instead of nothing? Because, it's possible logically that nothing ever existed. So therefore, if you ask the question, why does something exist and not nothing? Aristotle said it is logically necessary that anything at all exists, that there be an unmoved mover, or to use the language of Brahma Samhita, an uncaused cause. So if you ask a question and the question makes unjustifiable assumptions, it's not a valid question. The question itself is an argument rather than a question.